I don't know if any of you guys are like fans of Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, see, I want to go to a teaching hospital, because when they're about teaching doctors and bringing up the best doctors, they're going to be on top of their stuff. What it do? Michaela here with part 2 of my fibroid journey, and today we're jumping right into surgery. If you watched my first video, and I'll link it somewhere on the screen, I talked about symptoms I had leading up to my misdiagnosis and discovery that I did in fact have uterine fibroids. And today I'm going to talk about my decision to get surgery. So just to pick up from where I left off, I had an ultrasound that revealed that I had surgery, an abdominal as well as a vaginal ultrasound. Make sure you get both if your doctor only has you set up for one. And then after that, I found out that I have fibroids. I was never told exactly how many, they just said many. And so the ultrasound picture, which is here, it wasn't very clear, but you can definitely see there's mass, right? There's something in there that shouldn't be. So when I switched my OBGYN to a black female doctor, because I just was not happy with the care or attention that was being provided to me from the previous doctor, she gave me surgery options. One of those, of course, was an open myomectomy, which is like a C-section. They cut into your uterus, take it out, dig in there, cut out all the fibroids, close it back up. And then there is the laparoscopic surgery, where they make small incisions, they go in robotically, tear up the fibroids, pick up all the pieces in a bag, pull it out. Less recovery time. So one of the things that OBGYN actually had me do was get an MRI, because the MRI is more photographic than the ultrasound. I got an MRI, and that image, yeah, when I say photographic compared to the ultrasound, night and day. I could see the full size of my uterus, all the different angles, the amount of stuff that was in there. I mean, I see why they said many. All there were like, it was just full of masses and balls of stuff, and my uterus was so large. I think they say a regular size uterus is like about the size of a fist. A normal size uterus, my uterus was the size of someone who is 5 months pregnant. And now that I look at pictures, I probably did look a little pregnant at times, because sometimes my bloating would go up and down. But anyway, so as I mentioned in the last video, I switched from Kaiser because I was not going to trust them to do surgery for me, and I switched to Anthem Healthcare when open enrollment came at my job, and chose UCLA Medical Center, UCLA Health Center as my primary care provider. And just had done a lot of research actually. I did want to go to I'm laughing, hold on. I wanted to go to a like really good hospital that I felt like they were on top of all the latest stuff. And I don't know if any of you guys are like fans of Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, see, I want to go to a teaching hospital, because when they're about teaching doctors and bringing up the best doctors, they're going to be on top of their stuff. So UCLA was one of those places. Plus, in a lot of the research I was doing, I was getting a lot of UCLA doctors or videos about fibroids were coming up on YouTube and stuff. So I was like, okay. And then I have a friend who's a nurse there, so it just worked out. So then I started looking up doctors, and I don't think it was much of a tedious process. I just looked specifically like who specializes in fibroid removal. That was my focus, that was my goal. And so when I met with my new primary provider, primary care provider, she recommended about 2 or 3 people who she knew within the system that were like, this is what they do all day. So I looked into those people, and I set up an appointment to meet with one of them. So at this time, I'm still undecided on surgery because I did explore other options. I didn't want surgery. I wanted to be able to have vaginal deliveries, home births, things like that. And I knew that surgery meant that more than likely I was gonna have to have C-sections whenever I have children. So I was really hesitant. But as I mentioned in my previous video, the pandemic, stress, and I was in a wedding. Love my friend to death, but it was a stressful time for me. And I don't think, and it's funny because looking back, although the wedding, being a part of that in and of itself was stressful, I think it was more stressful on me because of the fibroids. You just don't realize how much stuff is affecting your body, and then it outwardly affects your life. So the wedding was in 2019, the pandemic hit in 2020. I just felt like I couldn't focus on the holistic route. I had got some supplements. I was trying to eat vegan, and not even just vegan, but very clean eating, like gluten-free, fat-free, dairy-free, animal product, just really healthy. But it was just hard. And I think the hardest part of that honestly wasn't eating right. It was like finding the ingredients and stuff. A lot of those ingredients just aren't readily available in stores. I mean, they are, don't get me wrong, you can find them. But again, the pandemic, it was just a lot. They should come up with like a meal kit where kind of like Green Chef, but they do it for health. So I tried all that and it wasn't working. So I had a meeting with the doctor in, I want to say it was like March. It was definitely virtual. It was a virtual meeting. So it was once everything got shut down. March 13th is when everything shut down. So we met maybe at the end of March or April. I just got a feel for her, and she was so, we vibed. Me and that lady vibed. Like, she was just so sweet. She was so nice. And I couldn't send her my MRI results because again, we were virtual. I had not met her in person. So I literally like pulled them up on the screen. It was like showing her, I don't know if I shared my screen or something, but it's like, she was like, okay, turn it this way, go to this picture. Okay, yes, pause there. And like, she's explaining what I'm looking at, even though I'm showing her. It was just cool. So I picked the doctor. She recommended surgery. She said, okay, well, I'll put you on the calendar for June. I think that's, because at that time, we're thinking this pandemic thing is gonna brush over, and I'm a teacher, so she was like, okay, first thing in the summer, then you'll have your summer to recover. And I was like, okay, cool, June. Even then, I wasn't decided, but she just wanted to get me on just in case I did decide to do it. June came around, I wasn't trying to get surgery. So canceled that, and said, put me on the schedule for another date. She put me on the schedule for December 1st of 2020. So even in that time, I'm still deciding, thinking about the pros and the cons and the risk and all of that. But like I said, my anemia was so bad. I think prior to having that appointment, I had to get an iron transfusion. So I had 5 weeks straight of me going into the hospital and basically having iron injected because my iron levels were so low. I would be at work, walking around lightheaded, like literally could be walking down the hallway and would have to stop and like put my hand on the wall and just hold myself. The bleeding was horrible during my cycle. I was probably changing my pads like every hour, every 2 hours, and I would wear the ultra size tampon with the highest absorbency pad and would be soaking through both like every hour and a half. So yeah, it was a lot. So with the anemia and the blood and the stress and the cramps, oh my God, I started to sleep. I bought a heating pad because, and they really work. So if you're out there suffering from cramps from fibroids, the heating pads are a lifesaver. But they really do comfort and smooth the cramping. So basically, all those symptoms, all that suffering. And I said, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. So December 1st was coming around and I was like, I'm ready to do this. So right before surgery though, she was like, wait a minute, I realized that we haven't met. This was probably like the week before. And she was like, no, we need to meet in person. So she scheduled an appointment. I went in and met her. Me and my boyfriend went, you know, she asked us any questions, answered any questions that we had for her. And it was just a great meeting. So went, scheduled that, had the appointment, and December 1st, I got surgery. Make sure that you subscribe, follow, like, share, join the community that is Michaela Care, and follow at Michaela Care on social media platforms. And I will see you all later. Until next time.